and welcome back to another stream. Hi everyone, I'm your host Asha. Welcome back to our Devstream. This is going to be one of the last ones before we move into the year 3 streams. But before we dive in, let me introduce our guest. Hi Alexi.
Hi, hello everyone.
Hi everyone. Hi, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. It's been a while since your last appearance. I think the chat is very happy to see you today.
Yeah, or maybe they forgot about me.
And let me introduce our another guest, also a favorite one, Neo, who is helping us to play the game today. Hi, Neo.
Hello everyone.
Hey, Neil.
How are you doing today?
Doing okay.
Are you gonna show us some Kraken fight?
Yeah, Kraken fight, as well as maybe try out the new events Brazilian.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, so I think to sort of set expectations for the stream, today we are here to talk about year 2, what went well, what didn't go as planned, and Alex, maybe you can give us a little bit of high-level overview of what to expect from today.
Yes, so today, essentially, we are experimenting a little bit and changing the format of what you might have known in the past, known as letter from the producer. So the idea is the exercise is essentially the same. We want to look back at everything that happened in the last season and everything that happened actually in year 2 before we move into year 3. And that's why we're kind of changing the format, doing it in a live format so that you can also give you the opportunity to ask direct questions. And we are rebranding it officially as of today as Through the Spyglass. So we say goodbye to letter from the producer and move into Through the Spyglass to really emphasize this idea of looking back and answering your questions to, give you an idea of what are the things we've learned in year 2, what are the things we're happy about year 2, what are the things that we could have done better, and give you a bit of a hint at the things that we want to focus on moving forward.
Yep. And before we dive in, I just want to make sure the sound is good and everything is working here on the stream. I see some familiar names already in the chat.
Quite a few actually, yes.
Yes. So hi everyone. All right. So I think we kind of okay with the streaming now. And I think to start off, Alexi, looking back at a year 2 in our roadmap in general, can you tell us a little bit more about what were our objectives stepping into the year 2?
Yes, so coming back to year 1, after year 1, really we were quite happy as a team to have delivered 4 major releases with a significant amount of new content, new features, many quality of life improvements. It might sound like standard for a live game, but for us it was the first time we shipped Skull and Bones and we work as a live game, so it was good to see that we had the capacity to deliver all of this. So then moving into year 2, we wanted to set the bar a little bit higher and be more ambitious. We heard a lot of feedback from the community that our players wanted more variety in content. They wanted us to change the seasonal formula, and they also wanted to, they wanted us to put a stronger focus on quality as well. So to that regard, the roadmap was pretty much designed with those pillars in mind. And many of the addition and improvements that we made to the game in year 2 were designed with this intention of bringing more variety and bringing more depth to the game. On the quality front, we also, continued our efforts to improve our feedback loop process, giving ourselves more time to, really understand player feedback and give us more time to also act on this feedback and make adjustments based on Insider Program feedback in particular.
Yes, and talking about the Insider Program and the feedback, maybe you can share some example when the feedback affected our year 2 roadmap and plans and etc.
So we have, I think everybody knows what happened in year 2, so we had some pretty good example of we had a plan and then we tested that plan with our insiders. Internally we got some feedback and then we had to make some difficult decisions. So for example, we made the difficult decision to push back the release of Faction War from season 2 to season 3. Here again, the intent with Faction War was to make sure that it had solid foundations to build a new type of endgame, a more engaging type of endgame that we can then build upon for future season and future years, hopefully. But this obviously had an impact on the content that we had originally planned for season 2 and season 3 and season 4. Moving on from season 2 to season 3, we also had to make the difficult decision to stop working on land gameplay completely. So this was not necessarily a direct response from our players, because unfortunately players never got the chance to actually play it. But we really felt that we were far from meeting our players' expectation when it comes to land gameplay. We were very excited about it, and we know players are very excited about it as well. But we knew that continuing to work on it to meet those expectations would have required a significant investment in terms of time and resources, which would have potentially put other key features of the game at risk. So in other words, we didn't really want to, add land gameplay as a small side activity that players would do once or twice and then never touch again. And in order to achieve that, to achieve that level of expectations, it would have meant sacrificing other aspects of the game, which we believe are still more important today. So as of today, that's why land gameplay is no longer being worked on, and it's not on the roadmap for the future, which is obviously not an easy decision to make. We know players had a lot of expectations. We had a lot of expectations, but we really think it was necessary for us to stay focused on, making sure that every new content we bring to the game adds real value, and connects really well with what Skull and Bones' core gameplay is, which is has always been naval combat, essentially.
Yes, and talking about all of the content that came actually in year two, there was quite some that we've launched in year two, and maybe you could talk about what was it felt like a definitive improvement compared to year one.
So personally, I think some area that the team really has made a lot of progress on when it comes to really listening to our players' feedback and understanding what our players want is every ship that we delivered with every season. Looking at the schooner, the frigate, the sloop of war, and more recently the corvette. I think the early feedback we received from our insiders really helped us fine-tune the gameplay, the visuals, and making sure they deliver, an epic ship with every season that has an interesting gameplay value. Of course, we can do better, but I think when we compare the ships that we released in year one to the ships we released in year two, we're definitely making progress on that front. What I said before is also that with year two, we wanted to focus on bringing more depth to the game, right? So I think the content we delivered in year two also, to some extent, did that. With Item Ascension, with Word Tiers, or even the Mega Fort, Faction War, or even the Kraken more recently, we've experimented quite a lot with different types of content. A new end game, new progression, and new challenges, more difficult challenge in the game as well. And I think we can say that we've seen a very clear positive response from our community when we launched those features. People were very excited about trying it out and experiencing it for themselves. But we also saw some encouraging data on the game, like stronger engagement in the game.
Yeah.
And more importantly, a significantly higher number of active users compared to year one. So here again, I know there's a lot of things we could do better and improve on, but overall year two I think was a good learning from us and strong improvements compared to the first year of Skull and Bones.
Yeah, a lot of new and good learnings, as you say, in year two with the launch of new content, with the insider programs and feedback from the community. And maybe we can touch a bit about the things that didn't go as well as we intended in the beginning.
Yeah, so obviously one thing we definitely want to continue to improve on is meeting our players' expectation in general. We know our players are very passionate about the game, and we know they play a lot, and we know that every little piece of feature that has a bit of frustration attached to it over time builds up a lot of frustration. So we want to really work on continue to bring more depth, more variety, more challenge to the game, of course, as a top priority, but also at the same time make sure we are better at getting the difficulty balancing right, and also giving the tools and options to players that they can really feel like they can tackle the new content in the best way possible, with as little source of frustration as possible. And of course, we also want to continue the work we're doing in identifying and fixing bugs as quickly as possible. Ideally before the release, but in some cases when we can't catch them before, then after the release of each update. We know this is a major concern from the community. Some bugs have been there for a long time, and we still need to resolve them. But we are really working hard on this, streamlining our process, being better at identifying what are the top issues from the community, what are the things we should tackle in top priority, and making sure that content is as enjoyable as it should be.
And we've talked about the things that went well, what didn't, learnings, but maybe if you could summarize the whole year two in a few points, like a main learnings.
So I mean, I think for us, from the very beginning of Skull and Bones, we had set a decision that community feedback was going to be essential in driving us forward, helping us making the right decisions, and driving the roadmap for the game. So I think year 2 has definitely seen a continuation of that commitment to work with the community, to listen to the community, to ask more questions, to understand better our players. So community feedback has always been very helpful and will continue to remain the core of what shapes our roadmaps, our priorities, and help us fine-tune the content moving forward. Like I said before, I think we're making good progress. We're seeing encouraging results. We are more focused, and I think we understand better what our players' expectations are. But also, I think we understand better from our players' perspective what makes Skull and Bones unique, which is essentially the naval combat. So yeah, we still have a lot of work to do to meet our players' expectations, especially, like I said, in terms of quality and balancing, bringing more variety to the gameplay loop and more depth. But that's the efforts that we're putting in and the direction we're taking.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for such a clear breakdown on everything, and I think the community chat appreciates this. And so we've said that moving into year 2, our main intentions were bring more variety and focus on quality, right? So now we're wrapping up year 2, we're moving to the year 3, and I think the same question goes here. What are our main intentions and our focus for this upcoming year 3?
Yes, so I mean, I think I kind of hinted at it a little bit with everything I said so far. But for year 3, basically, we want to continue to focus where we feel like we have the strongest impact and the strongest ability to create good engagement for our players, so fun gameplay for our players. So the focus is going to continue basically being on naval combat, which is really what is at the core of Skull and Bones and has always been at the core of Skull and Bones. We also see from our learnings that that's really what drives players' engagement, and we think that there's still a lot that we can do to improve that aspect of the game. So we want to continue bring content to our players so that they can unlock and use more ships, more equipment, experiment with new loadouts, and more importantly, find new ways to tackle the hardest content the game has to offer. We also want to make sure that they feel our players feel they have more control over how they choose to progress, how they choose to upgrade their ship loadouts, more flexibility to adapt to the different challenges the game has to offer, etc., etc. So in short, we really aim to be focused on what is at the core of the game. Improve the gameplay experience for players, reduce the sources of frustration, and continue to build upon existing features in the game. I believe we have a lot of things planned that are going to resonate with our players very well once we can start talking about it, and hopefully address some of the problems that our community has been raising to us since the beginning of year 2, or potentially before in some cases.
Yes, and in building up towards the year 3 and plans, as you mentioned, the Insider Program and community feedback has been a crucial tool, right, that help us to fine-tune our content before we release it. But I really wanted to maybe touch more on the Insider Program itself. Maybe you could tell us more about it.
Yes, so the Insider, actually, I've seen quite a few comments on the chat about it as well, and that shows that we need to talk about the Insider Program more regularly and more openly. But the Insider Program, to put it simply, has been a crucial part of Skull and Bones' development since before the release. It's something that I've been personally involved in since the very beginning, so I'm quite attached to it. I've got to know quite a lot of people from the Insider Program very well. I met some of them in person when they came over to Singapore. And after seeing how the Insider Program has continued to increase in influence on the decisions we make on the game, on the direction we take for the game, we definitely want to continue leveraging it even further and collaborate even more closely with our community through the Insider Program. I think it really helps us ensure that we are heading in the right direction and focusing on the right things. So yeah, I can't say too much right now because we're still working on it, but we are working on updating a few things about the Insider Program to be more transparent on how every player can join the Insider Program, participate in it, but also what are the key learnings we're getting from each testing phase, so that players know more or less what's going on in the Insider Program and what are the decisions we make based on the feedback from the Insider Program.
Yes, and definitely stay tuned for more information on the Insider Program, on the updates of it. Also, I think it was in November where we invited some of them to Singapore and we showed them the roadmap or our plans for the year 3. Also got their feedback on this. And while we are talking about the year 3 roadmap, is there anything else you could tell us or the chat about year 3? Anything you could reveal?
So there's not much I can say about year 3 itself. We know everybody wants to find out, and honestly, we can't wait to share our plans and see how people feel about our plans. But that's still being worked on. We're still working on like the best way to talk about it with everybody as soon as possible. What I can say is that if you want to find out more about year 3, you should definitely mark May 6th on your calendar. And make sure you are available to join us here on twitch.tv/Ubisoft for the full reveal.
Yes, see you guys all here on May 6th. But before that, make sure to follow our socials because soon we'll be already starting to tease some of the content that's coming, at least with year 3 season 1. All right, and I think, yes, year 3 is coming, but also a lot of questions from the community are, what is beyond year 3? What is happening after year 3?
So again, we know there's a lot of questions from the community about like how long is Skull and Bones going to be worked on, how long, like how many years have we planned, is there going to be a year 4, a year 5? And the short answer is yes, absolutely. We have plans that go well beyond year 3. We've already been thinking about which direction we want to take beyond year 3. But like I said, we are really paying close attention to what our players want. So we can't do everything all at once. And some of the things that we know players want are quite demanding in terms of time, resources, commitment, etc. So we need to be careful about where we spend our efforts. But yes, the roadmap is extending for as long as we can. So we are committed to see it through. And please keep your ideas and your feedback coming and tell us where you want to see Skull and Bones go in year 4, year 5, and beyond that.
Yes, definitely. And thank you so much for all these breakdown. And now I think we'll be slowly moving to the Q&A section. I know there are pre-collected questions that we usually do for the streams, but now I want to look at the chat, and also if you see any questions that you see you want to address, feel free. But one question, I know we can't reveal much, but I think you can be yes or no. I think the question was, are more large ships coming in year 3?
I don't know if I want to say. Neo, what do you think? Should I say? What should I answer? Maybe. It's a very strong maybe.
Okay, there's yes, no, and maybe.
I don't want to spoil it because we're gonna share more about this very soon. But I mean,
stay tuned. I mean, it was a sort of a reveal, but no.
Okay, let me turn the question around. Do you all want to see more large ships in year 3? If you all say no, we are in trouble. Let me put it that way.
No, they want extra large, maybe. All right. So I think slowly moving on to the Q&A section. As I said, we've gathered a lot of questions before, and a lot of them actually were quite related to the bugs in the game, and especially right after the season launch. So, for example, there's this one question saying, tell us anything about the blood curse ornament lamps displaying an incorrect lighting color on some specific ships.
Yes, so that's something I had to ask about because I wasn't familiar with it myself, but and we know it's been happening for quite a long time, I think. So my understanding is that this different lamp color with this ornament basically doesn't work on most, if not all, of the ships that have been released after the launch of the game in 2 years ago now. So the good news is that it is, we are aware of it. There's a fix coming. It should be fixed in year 3 season 1. So that's a good example of something that has been raised by the community through the bug reporter. But because it's a cosmetic bug, it wasn't necessarily identified as a top priority bug, and that's why it took a bit of time to get fixed. But it should be fixed very soon.
And another question about related to bugs as well is that the corvettes sometimes behave as a very light ship, for example during collisions with other ships.
Yes, and my understanding is that it's even gone worse since the last update. So I see a lot of comments actually about it on the chat, so that's why I wanna jump on this. We are aware there's issues with the corvette since the last update, so we're working on it. I don't think we have a fix as of yet, but we'll be following up on this to try to get it fixed as soon as possible. But beyond that, we also know that we had some feedback since the launch of Season 4 that the corvettes sometimes behave a bit in a weird way, especially when during collision. So that's also something we raised and when we are investigating. I don't think we have a fixed or improvement plan just yet, but that's something that we need to follow up on.
And also on the bugs, and I think they surfaced with the introduction of the Kraken. So the question is, if we can take a look at the participant in the large world events like Megafort or Kraken, because they noticed that some players just sit there without really participating, and if there's anything we're planned to address it.
Yes. So here again, this is not really a bug, but it's more like a flaw in our matchmaking and our system basically for these kind of events. But we also know it's quite frustrating for players. You know, they join one of these instance events, especially with the Kraken, because it's quite difficult. So if you don't have a good team of players that are all putting in effort, it makes the fight very, very difficult. So we don't have an immediate fix for this, but I can tell you that the whole matchmaking aspect and how you group up with other people is a key topic that we want to look at in year 3. Again, like I said before, the idea is to give players a bit more option, a bit more control about who they play with, to ensure that they can have the best experience when tackling difficult content.
Yeah, and a lot of actual questions also when it comes to the bug is about the prioritization of the bugs, because the question was why it's taking so long to get fix certain bugs, even though they have been reported a very long time ago.
Yes, so this is a very good question. So what I can say is that the time it takes us to fix an issue really depends on the nature of the bug. So it depends on how critical it is, how many players are affected by it, right? So if we, for example, it hasn't happened yet, hopefully, but if we identify a bug that makes 10 or 20% of our players game crash, obviously that's going to be a top priority. We're going to put a lot of effort to try to get it fixed as quickly as possible. But it also depends on how easy it is for us to kind of reproduce it internally. For example, some bugs only happen on the live servers, which makes it hard for us to reproduce internally and identify really the issue. And then all of these factors basically impact on how we choose to prioritize our efforts. If it's an issue, like I said before, which is purely cosmetic, we understand it's very frustrating for players who bought a cosmetic and it doesn't act as it should. But technically, it doesn't impact. It's not critical in the sense that it doesn't prevent you from playing the game, and potentially it only impacts those people who bought it. So that's how we choose basically how many people we want to put at resolving that bug, reproducing it first, and then identifying the issue and then fixing it. So some bugs, even though they've been raised a long time ago, if we identify them as non-critical or not super urgent, they might be deprioritized, so that we can also focus on the new features, the new content that are coming.
Yeah, and we really hope to share more, I think, behind the scenes of how do we deal with bugs to kind of let you guys know. And I think once you understand it, you might also understand why certain bugs take longer time to fix. But wrapping up the bugs section and Q&A, moving to the new one, the question is, can you bring the possibility to de-ascend weapons, Lexi?
So that's a good question. Can we? Technically, yes, we could. But I know for a fact that we have a way more elegant solution coming for that specific issue. So to put it simply, we know all our players have been sharing frustration about ascending weapons and the amount of RNG that's involved. And then if you don't get the roll you want with the roll limitation that you have, then essentially you're basically ruining a weapon that you might only have one exemplary of. So we have a solution coming in year 3, which I think will please a lot of people, and it's way cooler than just the possibility to de-ascend weapon.
Okay, that was a certain way to hype us up.
I think it's a very great solution that our designers came up with. So yes, hopefully I'm right and players will like it too.
Cool. Can't wait to share more about this. Actually, talking about the year 3 content, the question was that will we see new content and exploration areas in year 3?
So that's a tough question. So again, we know this is something that a lot of players are super excited about. And even for us, I think as a team, the idea, of like building an entire new region with new quest line, new contracts, new everything basically. Obviously, it's something that's very exciting, very appealing. But it is obviously something that requires a tremendous amount of work. It requires to make sure that the world is polished, that we have new quest lines, new NPCs, etc., etc., etc. So it's not as straightforward as just removing the invisible barrier that we have in the game and here you go, you can explore it. In a similar way as what I was saying about linear play, we also want to make sure that if we extend the map, there's a real value coming to the game. It's not just a new region that you explore once or twice and then you go back to the same world events that you've been doing in the last 2 years. So here again, to make sure that this has the impact that we think it should have, would require a tremendous amount of effort and time and resources, which means potentially in the meantime we can work on other things. So that's why it's not our focus at the moment. It's not on a roadmap for year 3. We want to really double down on the core naval gameplay. Make sure that this core gameplay loop is as engaging as possible and as fun as possible before we start, jumping into like big topics like that.
Okay. And also, I think the next two questions are quite the same. So the question was, will there be a mid-season update before the year 3? And will year 3 start on the schedule?
So no, there's no mid-season update before year 3 because year 3 is coming fairly soon. Honestly, I'm quite happy because I don't think we'll be able to manage another update before year 3. The team is 100% focused on year 3 right now. So we just had an insider program recently where we had a lot of very helpful feedback from our insiders. We have a lot of things to look at and tackle and address. But we're pushing really hard to make sure that year 3 season 1 is as polished, as ready as possible before the release.
All right. I think before we move to the next big questions, do you want to pick some questions from the chat at the moment?
It's going very fast, and I'm not sure I can keep track of everything.
Because there was a comment that someone is convinced that these streams are pre-recorded, which is not, and we're actually trying our best to make it to address all the questions that we see.
Sorry, just to clarify something. When I say there's no mid-season update, it doesn't mean we're not going to fix anything. We have our regular maintenance every Tuesday, and whenever we have fixes that are ready for bugs, we will deploy them through those regular weekly maintenances. It's just that there's not going to be a significant seasonal update with new content and new stuff coming.
Yeah, and I think people are waiting the most for the Corvette fix at the moment. And as soon as we have information on when.
Can I ask something? Can I ask Neo something? Neo, I'm gonna throw you something. I don't know if you're even aware of it. I think you're aware of it, but I see a few comments in the chat talking about hippo nuggets. Do you know anything about hippo nuggets?
I keep notices from Reddit.
Do you want to say something about hippo nuggets? Remember, you can't promise anything.
How to say without promising?
Are we gonna? What's the suggestion here, really? We want to have it make into a food ingredients?
I don't know. I just know that some people from your team are doing something about hippo nuggets. What they're doing exactly, how are they doing it, when it's coming, I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea about is that gonna be a food? Or we have plenty of hippo meat. Yes, we can gathering. So
no, but also to jump back, I think to something AJ was saying earlier. We have an art team that loves to work on fun content.
Yes.
So whenever we have ideas like that and we throw at them, they tend to go look crazy. So there might be something coming at some point, but we don't know when. It's obviously not on the top priority list either. But
it's like a fun little Easter egg interaction, and I think you guys can look forward to something.
Yes.
All we can say for now.
Yeah, we'll keep watching the Reddit.
Yes. And all right. Moving to the next question. So I think it's a quite big question about the faction war. So the faction war was launched in year 2, season 3. So the question is, are we satisfied with how it's received by players and how it's going this season? And if not, what do we think is the main issue?
So satisfied, I think, is a bit of a strong word. And I think I wouldn't say we're satisfied because it would potentially imply, everything with perfect and we don't have anything to fix or improve on factional, which is obviously not the case. But we know there's a lot of things on faction war that we can improve. And to be clear, that was always the intention. We knew before we launched faction war that we wanted to set the foundation for a new endgame, something that requires players to be more engaged than what we had before with the Ham Empire. And also something that we knew was solid enough for us to build upon in the future. So the idea really was to make sure that the systems that we had in the game already and then the new system that we were bringing with Faction War worked together very and, like, as good as possible. You know, the hostility features and the various activities that we brought back with Faction War. And from then, we also wanted to make sure the different factions in the game can be introduced to the system of Faction War and worked well. So to that extent, I think we were successful at bringing that new end game and building solid foundations for the future. Now, obviously, we know players would like to see more activities, and especially new activities, rather than activities that they've already been doing through the Ham Empire in the past, for example. We also know there are strong concerns about the balance between the two factions. I think in Season 1 it was fairly balanced, but we've seen that in Season... not in Season 1, in Season 3 it was fairly balanced, but as seasons progress we can see that there's a bit of a shift as players tend to pick the faction that they feel is more likely to win the war, right? Which makes sense. But again, this is something that we kind of expected. We already had feedback about these aspects from our insiders even before we released Faction War. So we had identified those things already. And these are things that we are working on to address. But again, the idea is that we are going to make Faction War evolve over time, little by little, and continue to build upon the foundations that are there. So we have a lot of things that we have on the roadmap for Faction War, bringing new factions, new activities, changing the rewards, changing the way you get your rewards as well. So it's going to be something that evolves over a long period of time. So hopefully Faction War in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years from now will be very different than what you're experiencing now.
Yes, and I think when we've just started communicating about Faction War, this is what we've been always saying, that this is a future that will be iterated upon along with the community feedback, seeing how you guys engage with it. And I think it's fair to say we're pretty much in the process of it and will be continue to evolve the future. And when it comes to another question about the Faction War, there's a question. I'm not sure if you'll have an exact answer to that though. How many players are on each side of Faction War?
So I don't have the exact number, honestly. But the last time I checked, I think we were in the tens of thousands of players on each side. So it's a very healthy amount of players on both sides. And I think it also addressed some of the concerns we had when we initially launched Faction War. Some people were like questioning the number of war assets.
Artificial,
So yeah, there's definitely, like, we double checked, we triple checked our code, our numbers. It does match basically the amount of people who are engaged in Faction War to the amount of war assets that are being accumulated with every battle phase.
Okay, moving on to the I really like this question actually. So out of all seasons that we've introduced in year 2, Alexi, which one stands out as your personal favorite?
Yeah. So my favorite is Season 4. I think Season 2 was quite interesting because it was the first large ship. We had the Mega 4. It was a cool season in general. But I think Season 4 is the season where we intentionally tried to push the difficulty a little bit higher than what we normally do. We worked very closely with insiders to balance out the Kraken. Again, the idea was to make the Kraken, it's the biggest sea monster we have in the game, and it is the Kraken, so we wanted to make sure that it was a challenge. And we know that has created a bit of frustration for players, especially at the beginning, because they were a bit surprised by it. But on the other hand, the reaction we've seen from many of our more veteran players who created guides, shared tips, gave instruction on like what is the best loadout to do it, how to do it. Also, just reassured players that it is doable, because a lot of people were like, this is not doable, and then others came in and said, look, it is doable if you use this loadout, if you have a good team, etc. So to me, this was a good experience because we really saw the community come together and more experienced players helping those who were struggling a bit more. But it also highlighted that the game definitely is ready for more challenging content. Although obviously there's a lot of things that we can improve when it comes to the tools and the mechanics to again reduce the frustration. Right, if you have more options to control who you bring in with you into the fight, then you have more control on like your overall performance as a team. And it makes the challenge more manageable. So it was interesting to see the community react that way. It's also highlighted some of the things we need to improve to make that kind of content more fun in the future.
Definitely. But actually, I want to ask the same question. The chat And Neo as well. So while chat is answering, chat, what was your favorite season so far, or favorite ship that was launched in year 2? So we had frigates, schooner, sloop of war, and corvette. What was your personal favorite? And I think I'm also gonna ask the same question from Neo. Neo, what was your personal favorite season this year?
This season, actually.
This season also season.
It was good, right?
Yeah.
It's a good season.
There's Kraken, there's new ship. New
And the
large ship.
Corvette is beautiful.
Frigate is beautiful as well, the new skin.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes, yes.
Yeah, Captain GTI says sloop of war, sloop of war, sloop of war.
See, Alpha agrees with me. Corvette.
Yeah, but I think that the frigate was the first large ship, right? So
Okay.
it was like a first big thing.
Yes, but I also feel like with the next season, everybody's gonna change their mind about their favorite ship. I don't want to spoil anything, but I feel like
You think a lot of people will change their mind?
I think so. Yes.
Then it's year 3 already, so. All right, season 2, because I love the frigate. Okay, a lot of people are kind of like sloop of war, frigate, corvette.
So Super War is interesting actually because I think those who really spend the time to play with it and learn how to play with it absolutely love it. But it didn't create so much hype at the beginning. Obviously, the frigate being the frigate, the first large ship, everybody was
Yeah.
super excited about it. The sloop of war was a bit more discreet, I think, at the beginning. But then people, as they learn how to play it, really said it's a really good ship. So yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. Ooh. Maybe we can move to the next question now. And the next question is, and actually I think this question concerned like a lot of people. So will the Black Flag remake impact Skull and Bones at all, Alexi?
So yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are asking about it because we have now officially announced Black Flag Resynced. It's the official name. And I think for those of you who looked into it a little bit, you probably know already that it's being developed at Ubisoft Singapore, so the same studio that we are in today. But it's completely different teams. So we're not working on both games at the same time. We have 2 separate teams working on 2 different games. And we're obviously very excited about a remake of Black Flag coming out. But no, it won't impact us at all. We don't impact each other at all technically because we feel that we're working on very different games, right? We are very focused on naval gameplay and pushing this naval gameplay as far as we can to really provide a fun experience while they're working on Black Flag. Black Flag is Black Flag.
Yes. So I hope that answer address some of the concerns from the community. And I think now we can move to other questions. We can be faster with those. So the first question is armor transmog question. Mark.
So that came up again. It's been a while since we had a question about armor transmog. I think in year 1 it was a question that came out a lot because players were asking basically options to kind of either hide or change the look of their armor on the ship. Then we introduced the possibility to hide your armor. So I think that feedback kind of like reduced a little bit in frequency. So it's no longer a priority at the moment, to be honest. But if that's still something that players want, I think we can obviously bring it up again and see if we have options to do something.
And next question, maybe Neo also can help answer that question. Tattered or torn sails cosmetics for every ship. I think it's similar to the frigate skin.
That's a very challenging one.
Yes.
This one actually is more of a question for Jeremy Astan. He's a designer, right?
Okay.
Our side, we really we're kind of fighting with designers. Can we have even for the skin, what we have on from the Wicked Green, we actually fight quite a lot with Jeremy to get it. So
what you're saying is if the community tells us we want this, then we come to you and together we fight against the designers to make it happen.
Yes, it has to be joint effort.
Cool.
Yeah. There's some sophisticated.
So remember, next time we bring a designer on the stream, that's the moment you say we talk to Neo. This is what we want.
Yes, chat. It's going to be on you. Okay. So the next question is option to activate or toggle ship auras or have it activate more often.
Yeah. So honestly, this one is also kind of a new request that I haven't seen before. I think it's something we need to look into as well. I don't know if it's technically feasible, if it's complicated. My guess is probably not. And if that's something that a lot of players want, why not?
Mm-hmm. Okay, next question is more ornaments to change the color of the lanterns or the option to change the color of lanterns manually.
Yes, this is something I told Neo before the stream. Actually, he's gonna make it happen. Right?
Oh, really?
No, I don't know. He said he's gonna look into it. So
Yes.
I'm putting him on the spot.
Okay. Flag pennants or streamers?
Yes, so same thing. I think this is something that came up a lot, especially I think on the lead up to the release of the frigate. We can you can now have at least one pen when you're doing faction war. And to be honest, it's not on the priority at the moment. But if it's something that a lot of players want, it's a cosmetic option. I think we can look into. From what I remember, there was some technical limitations about this, about how many pennants we can actually display. In a scenario where you have 20 ships on screen at the same time, 20 players, it might be a lot. But maybe it's something we can look into again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we don't have much left when it comes to pre-collected questions, but I think we can wrap them up really soon. So the next question is partial ship skins. And I think when it comes, it's more about the customization for the epic ship skins. Is there anything on the table?
I think same thing. I think this comes from players who want to have only one part of the ship skin and not the full thing. Especially I think with the Wicked Green, some players were saying that they like the skin in general, but they don't like some of the visual effects, for example. So again, I don't think that's something we've planned to do right now. I think, and Neo, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the priority for the art team is to make sure that every ship we have in the game has at least one premium ship skin. But then after that, if we decide to, potentially do partial ship skin, why not? Again, it's something that if the community really wants it, I think that's very easy for us to say, okay, this is what the community wants in the future. The art team is very keen to receive that kind of feedback from the community. So let us know what you want, and we make sure they know what you want.
Okay, next question is, would it be possible to have a function to toggle all gun ports at once?
Yeah, same thing. I don't think this is planned at all. So I will need to follow up with designers, see if it's something that is possible and if it's something that is relatively easy to do. Why not?
The next question I'm also curious about, what is the highest possible number of gun ports on a ship?
Yes. So I don't have the answer to the question. I'm not a designer. This is something I need to follow up on again. My guess is that it depends on balancing in general. How much firepower do we want to give to a specific ship? But as we potentially introduce more large ships in the future, there might be new ships with more large, more gun ports. Sorry. And then I don't know if in the long distance future we ever find a valid reason to introduce extra large ships, then that's also a possibility for us to raise the number of gun ports. But yeah, honestly, I don't know what's the limit at the moment.
Okay. Next question is, original orange the deck firework as Twitch drops. Is it possible to bring it back?
Yes. So this is my favorite firework personally. I'm very attached to it. I think it was the deck firework before we made other variants of it. So it's a question to you: do you want to bring it back someday?
Absolutely. Actually, I think it's a good moment to check if the drops are actually working today, because I think we have a very, very new set. But also the reason why deck firework is not available on every stream, because we have a limit to number of drops that we are able to set up for each stream. So today, or the last time, I think we chose to distribute the newer emblems, newer drops. So we can definitely bring it back in one of our next streams. But I think you can stay tuned that a lot more new cool drops are coming soon. All right, so moving to the next question, are long guns on all deck possible?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's possible. But again, my understanding was that we chose not to make it an option because of balancing reasons. But again, it's a question that's been coming up regularly for quite a long time. So I can still follow up with designers, and we can look into it, and if there's a reason for us not to do it, then we can, I can ask what is the actual reason again, because I don't remember honestly. But I think it's for balancing reasons.
And what about the broadside Seafire? That's the question.
Yes, so that's something. It's not planned at the moment, as far as I know. I'm not fully aware of every weapon that is planned for the upcoming year, but I know that our designers are always looking for new types of weapon and different types of weapon to bring to the game. So bringing more variety is something we want to do. So maybe why not? It's something I need to check with them if it's planned or not.
Just going back to the drops, I saw someone saying that it's working, but some people had to refresh. So the drops will be still working, I think 15 minutes after we end the stream. We will put the stream live for you guys able to claim drops for those who joined later. So it's going to be on for another 15 minutes. So I hope everyone who wants can get it. All right. So I think we're pretty much done with all the pre-collected questions, but there's one last question. That's I like that question, Alexi. Alexi, I think you've been working for how many years now at this point? You don't want to say, okay.
People will start believing I'm very old or something. I'm not old.
Yeah, okay. The question was, what is like working behind the scenes on Skull and Bones?
Honestly, it's been a really good experience for me. Like, so without going too much into history and all this, it's the first time I've experienced working within the development studio and working on a game before it gets to be released. So for me, it's been really, really interesting to see, like all the discussions taking place, all the thinking that goes into like, okay, which direction we want to take with the game, and then being part of the team that's there when the game finally releases, and then getting to, be part of, so I think the cool thing about our jobs is that we are in the development studio, but we're also very close to the community through the insider program. So we get to see a bit both sides and we bridge the gap. So getting to see the players' reactions, and we're also getting to experience, like the frustration from players. And then sometimes it's like, oh my God, it's the players are really unhappy about something. And then we go to the developers like, look, this is what they're saying. And the designer go like, yeah, we kind of knew, we expected this, we understand it, but don't worry, we have a solution coming, blah, blah. So it's quite I don't know, energizing to see the both sides of the camp basically. And I know for players it's a bit hard to visualize because it takes time for us to bring the information from one end to the next and then bring the information back from the developers to the players. But because we are in this middle position and we get to see both sides, I think it's quite there's a lot of passion going in and it's quite fun.
Yeah, and I've joined Skull and Bones I think exactly a year ago. I think it was April last year.
Yes,
so
it's been 1 year, right?
It's been a year. I felt like
happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. But I also really enjoyed it. I think the community here is really awesome, and to me, especially like the kind of new feeling was when the insiders or keepers came to the Singapore workshop, and I finally could like put faces to the names and see all of them in real life, and it was really, really, really a joy, nice experience. It's been amazing. And moving to the last question from pre-collected is also personal, I would say. Alexi, what's your favorite character in year 2?
It's a tough one. I would have to say it's probably Lucian Harrow, because I think as the new antagonist, I think he's quite interesting. And yeah, I'm quite looking forward at like how he evolves and how his role in Skull and Bones evolves over time. But I think he plays this role of like, he was originally he was like very much in the shadows. People don't really know where he's from, what he's doing, but kind of like controlling a lot of things, controlling the faction war, he's the one who's bringing a lot of weapons and item ascension to the world, and nobody really knows why. And so I think he has a very interesting angle. What about you?
I think it's because since I just joined, so for me, everyone is pretty new, right?
Yes.
So I think for me, the twins, and it's also because I think it's also community favorite, right? So whenever we post something about the twins, it just gets so much traction.
The twins are from year 1 technically, so that's cheating.
I mean, to me.
But yeah, the twins have a certain vibe for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I think we're done actually for the pre-collected questions, and I know you guys are leaving a lot of questions in the chat, but it's too fast, so we might not be able to read them or catch them. So if you have any more questions, now is your chance. You can drop them in the chat, and Alexi, if you see anything you want to address, also feel free. But I think before that, since we're coming, I think 10 minutes left till the end of the stream, but to wrap up the whole stream, maybe your main message to the community today.
Well, we said a lot, so it's going to be hard to wrap up in a few sentences. But I think overall, again, like I think it's important for us that the community understands how we operate on a live game, right? So when we make a big announcement about a year roadmap, for example, it's always, these are our intentions. This is what we want to bring to the game, and we have obviously in the past set a very high bar for ourselves. So that's why it's important that when we announce something, this is what we want to do. But the feedback from the community is essentially what will help us decide if we are delivering all these features, and when are we delivering these features, and in what format we're doing those features. So that's why the insider program is very important. That's why the feedback we read from the community on Discord, on Reddit, on social media is very important, because our goal is to make sure that no matter what we announced a year ago, what we bring to the community is what really resonates well with our players. So that's why we had to make some difficult decisions, some adjustments in year 2 on the roadmap. That's why we decided to start working on land gameplay, and that's why we want to instead focus on what's already in the game and making what's already in the game better. We feel like most of the players who came to the game and are still playing the game today, came because they enjoy what's there at the core of the game, the naval combat, the experience, and the potential it has for the future. So our main focus for the future is to deliver on this potential, on the core gameplay potential. So yeah, I think the last 2 years we've learned a lot from the community. We've learned a lot on how to work with the community and the feedback, and we want to continue in that direction and continue to work closely with our players to bring what gets them the most excited, basically.
Yes. All right. Do you see any questions?
There's a lot
There's
of comments.
But I think the things that I see the most is about the player group, and there was something else. But someone putting it on all caps to make sure we can see it.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I see some questions that will be answered when we talk about year 3 a bit more. So I don't want to spoil too much.
Yep.
I see people asking about, increased group size, for example, inventory increase. So there's a lot of things that we're planning to do on these fronts that we'll talk about a bit more when we announce year 3.
Yes. So as Lexi mentioned earlier, May 6th, this is something you need to mark on your calendar, so you can join us for a big reveal on that day. All right.
Can we have bigger rogue waves? Sure, I guess. Why not? So actually, again, I don't want to spoil too much, but one of the things that we are working on for year 3 is bringing more, bigger challenges for players to face. So, not saying we are bringing bigger rogue waves, but maybe bigger rogue waves is one of the ways that we can increase the challenge in some way or form in the future. So why not?
Okay.
If it was up to me, it'd be like crazy rogue waves and tornadoes everywhere and chaos everywhere. But
I think in one of
people will hit
the
me.
other streams, it was, I think what Samuel saw, he was mentioning that at some point someone dropped that idea of volcano erupting from the ocean.
Yes,
but it
that would
was
be
just
cool.
an idea, but it would be
No,
cool.
but that would be cool. Yes, I would love that.
Okay.
More creators emblems. So we want to bring more creators emblems, right?
Definitely. And I think we can tell them what are the emblems coming in
Yeah,
year
absolutely.
3 season 1. It's going to be Heinz. Heinz is getting his finally his own emblem in the game. Our beloved
Well-deserved.
Heinz. Yes. And Captain GTI is going to have his emblem for the year 3 season 1 launch, so stay tuned for that. But also I think it's good to say that before that, I know a lot of people were saying that they missed the chance to get certain emblem, so we want to do we always wanted to do this reheat of the emblems, so now we're in discussions with the creators of when we want to do this reheat. So basically like a couple of weeks maybe prior to year 3 launch, where those creators can stream and you guys get a chance to get emblem you missed.
Yes, and if you have a favorite streamer or content creator that you think is really helpful and deserves to get emblems, please feel free to share their names in the chat or on Reddit or on Discord. We're always looking for new content creators that we can work with and support. So,
yep. All right. Okay, everyone is happy for Heinz and Captain GTI. I think Captain GTI, I saw him in the chat earlier.
yes, he said hi.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know if
not
he's
sure.
still here.
Captain GTI, are you still here? Let us know. Mm,
Naval combat is your focus. What kind of feedback would you like to have to it, and what focus will be after this? So yes, naval combat is our focus. What kind of feedback is essentially what kind of gameplay elements would you like us to bring to naval combat? Any ideas for new ships? Any ideas for new weapons? Any ideas for new challenges or new ways that will make you feel, oh, I want to log back in and pick this ship and pick this loadout and try my best at this event or this activity or whatever. So yeah, like your feedback on naval gameplay in general, anything you feel like is important, even like if it's like quality of life improvements, better matchmaking, better grouping features, all the things that make the game more enjoyable for you to play essentially.
I see a lot of questions that kind of would spoil answers, would spoil things for year
Naval
3.
combat with clans, One Piece crossover, exploration.
So people who are asking all the questions about the future content, you should make sure you join us on May the 6th. Okay, you should be here to get your answers. Captain GTI
Yes,
says I'm
here.
still here. Awesome. Okay, before we wrap up, Neo, I think I want to... how are you doing?
Doing okay.
Still fighting the Kraken.
No, the crazy Neon.
Oh, okay. I thought you were on the Kraken.
How many times you died today?
Quite a lot. Crazy Neon's quite crazy.
Hey Alex, can you say that again but loudly?
What?
Which part? The whole stream?
Or is it the long leave part?
What, long live piracy? Or he wants me to shout?
All right. Let's see. We see if there are a couple of more questions we can pick up from the chat, because it's time to wrap up this stream already. And also, as I mentioned, for those who haven't been able to claim your drops, we're gonna play the stream 15 minutes. We're gonna end the stream 15 minutes later, so you can still get them. Quite some questions about faction war that I see. Alexi gonna sing now.
I don't think anybody wants me to sing. Not in the studio and not on the stream for sure. Oh, naval combat with clans. They want me to say that, but I'm so just because I'm saying it doesn't mean it's happening. I'm just reading the chat just to be clear. I'm not saying naval combat with clans is coming. I'm not saying that.
We're not promising anything on this stream.
No, but on like, all joke aside, if clans is something that the community really feels strongly about, and if you want to build your own clan and bring your own clan to faction war, that's something you need to tell us, because faction war is very much, like I said, it's a feature that we want to continue working on and improve over time. So if building your own clan for the faction war, for example, is something that you think would benefit the game greatly, let us know. I'm not saying we can make it happen easily. I think it's a complex topic. But yeah, let us know.
There's this question that repetitive. I'm not sure if it's from the same person or different. About would it be possible to acquire skins from previous seasons or years?
Skins from previous seasons?
Is it the epic ship skins or?
I mean, I think most of the skins are either available or put on rotation on a regular basis. But if there's any specific skin that you're missing, you haven't seen for a while, same thing, let us know. We can see if we can bring it back.
I think right now all the skins are in store.
All of them are available right now?
Yes.
Okay, so log in the game right now. They're all available. Quick. Before Neo takes them away again.
What about emotes? Asia, are they coming?
Yes,
Are the
this is
new
on
ones
you.
are coming? I mean...
Asia is the one working on emotes.
Okay.
When is the next Insider invite? So, Insider program, we have one per season. So the last one just finished, unfortunately. So there won't be one until we release Year 3 Season 1. And to give you a bit more information on how you can be selected and join in. So first of all, keep an eye on your mailbox, because we send the invitation by email. Second of all, the best way to be invited, well, there's two ways really to be invited. The main way is basically by playing the game. The more you play the game, the more likely you'll be selected, because we want to invite people who have as much experience playing the game as possible. So we really look at playtime as a key metric. But we also keep an eye out for people who are very active on our channel. So people who contribute to the community on Discord, on Reddit. Usually we will try to reach out to them saying, hey, we've seen you very active on those channels. We appreciate what you're doing. Do you want to join the insider program so we can, talk a bit more, exchange a bit more, get to know what you're doing, support you a bit better, and then you get access to the insider program and you can give us your feedback as well.
Yep. People are talking about fireworks being as drops for creators. I think that's a pretty cool idea, actually. Have we ever thought about it? Not really.
Don't think we've considered it, but maybe in the future.
That's
I think
cool
fireworks
idea.
are a little bit more challenging to create though than emblems. Yeah, we can look into it for sure.
Because there's a whole animation that goes with the
Yes.
fireworks, right?
Yes.
True. All right. I guess we are pretty much there. It's been an hour so far. Alexi, how you feel about it?
I feel pretty good. I don't know how does the chat feel about what we said. That's the important question.
I think the reaction was slightly better than I expected, to be honest.
One more question. Is there a way you can address making a faction war more balanced, like maybe making it more easy for faction with lesser numbers? So we do have things planned for this, yes. I don't think I can say much about it now, but there are systems that we're working on to help with the balancing. If for example, one side has more players than the other, then potentially there'll be ways for the player that is, the side that is dominated to catch up faster in a way. I'm not sure I'm the best one to explain it, but there are systems that we're working on.
I like this. Can we recap everything now, Alexi?
Can we play the recording but times 2 and just super fast it and then play it in a loop and then everybody will get the message again? No, but obviously if there's anything anybody wants more information on about what we said today, if you want us to follow up on it, we are all at the studio, the community team. We're all keeping a close eye on our channels, on Reddit, on Discord. So after the stream, once we share, recaps and stuff like that, feel free to ask follow-up questions if you want more information. We will do more streams in the future as well, so we can always, consider your feedback from this stream and address it with the next one.
Yep. And I think before we wrap up, just to give a heads up on future streams. So as we mentioned, May 6th is going to be a big year 3 reveal stream. But also prior to that, we are planning to have a stream on the ships. I think last stream people also asked about that. Just to talk about the making of the ships, maybe have some sneak peeks about the future ones, who knows. So we will announce more on our socials on Reddit, so please stay tuned. But I think for now, we slowly can wrap up the stream. Alexi, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we're pretty good.
Yep. And Neo, thank you so much today for joining. I think our chat loves you as always. And thank you everyone for joining. Today we tried a different time, so let us know as well your feedback, how this timing works for you. I know it doesn't really work for Alexi.
No, I get very stressed before the stream, so the later we do the stream, the longer I'm stressed for. So it's not good for my mental health, but I can make an effort. Or next time you bring somebody else. That way I don't have to suffer.
So, because usually we have streams like 10 a.m. our time, but today it was 4 p.m. So it was like a long await till we've done it.
Yeah, and we know that it's still quite early for Europeans.
Yeah.
I think it's like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. now. And if you're working, it's obviously not ideal. Unfortunately, we are in Asia, so if we want to try to catch European on their evening time, it would be like 2 or 3 a.m. for us, which I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just not ideal. I'm not that young. I don't stay up that late anymore. But hopefully 9, 10 a.m. for Europe is still pretty good.
Okay, I think that's a good time for Europe. Awesome. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining again. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and let us know your feedback or any follow-up that you have on this one on Reddit. I think we'll post a bit of a recap today in the evening. So this will be the thread where you can leave any feedback that you have about everything that we've shared today. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Have a good weekend.
Bye, Neo.
Thank you.